What's up, Hobby Extreme? Nick back in the shop, and today we got the Atom on the surgery table. We're going to be doing a little bit of work to that nose gear, as you guys saw in our last Maiden. We have just a little bit of reinforcing we need to do. Hopefully it's not too bad. Looks like all we need to really replace is the plate that the gear is mounted to, as well as replacing a servo arm, because it looks like it got bent. I'm really hoping that the servo's fine, and also the gear is not bent. That would be a little bit more time consuming. I'm also going to look at the main gears, make sure there's no structural or cracking and stuff like that. If there is, I'm going to try to reinforce or just put some epoxy in there to see if I can make sure that that doesn't get any worse. And yeah, let's get to work. Really liking this coming. I was a little worried about that. Pita tube got pressed in a bit. But also what I've seen is with the pita tubes is they don't have to be actually all the way out where the static ports are outside of the aircraft. You actually can have the static ports inside apparently. I'm probably going to do that so that when it's in the bag it doesn't get pressed in like it just did. More things I'm learning. I'm hoping I don't have to completely replace it. I can just epoxy it in, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Let's grab some tools and then I'll show you what we're working with. Alright, so this is what we got. If you can kind of see the cracking all around there. So we're going to take the gear off. We're going to see what kind of damage you are, and we might have to cut away a bunch and see what we can try to save. Well, at least I got a good solid line on where it's supposed to be placed. So that's good. The only thing is, it's just completely... It's supposed to have like a fillet that goes into all four corners. So it was trying to remake those fillets is going to be very tricky. And also I'd have to break apart all of this to try to make that happen too. So how do I make it just as strong without putting those fillet squares into a slot? I don't think I want to just epoxy a square plate in there. I feel like I need to make it stronger in some sort of way. Like maybe if I just put squares on the corners to support it from up and down and epoxy those in maybe. I feel like I'm leaning towards that route. Basically putting standoffs on the four corners, that way the plate will sit on top of that, and then put four squares on top of that. It's going to be all epoxy. It's not going to be any kind of mechanical joint, but I think that epoxy would be just as strong. All right, let's play around with some standoffs. I think that's the route that I'm going to take. Alright, so this dowel rod is probably the strongest stuff that I got. I have some square balsa, but I don't think I want to use balsa wood. So I'm thinking about right that, cut them flat, put them as a base on all four corners, and once I epoxy that in, I can even screw the top plate to that with epoxy, and I think that would be strong enough. Obviously, this is not going to be the best way. I bet there's someone out there that can probably make this look better than factory. All I'm going to do is it's going to look good enough where you're not going to be able to tell, and it's not going to break. That's my goal. So I think I'm going to cut 4 just in the same height as this box was, and clean those up and create a top plate. I have some of this stuff. I might actually take 2 of these and actually double stack them. How thick was the original pieces? Yeah, it was about 2 of those. Put the camera on you. So it was about 2 of those. So I'm probably going to take 2, cut out 2 squares, laminate those together, and that will be my new top plate. And then I'll probably also, yeah, that'll probably be good. And then just paint over the top of that. I think that will look just fine. I'm pretty sure that'll be strong enough. Yeah, let's go screw some shit up. Of course you're not charged. Why would you be charged? Alright, bring it to the sander and start fine-tuning the nip. So squared them off a bit so that way they sit really flush. And what we're going to do is we're going to get some epoxy ready. We're going to use some CA and Kicker to initially just hold them in place, basically like a tack. And then the epoxy is what's really going to hold it. So that's what we're going to use to secure those in. And then while the epoxy is drying, I'm going to go ahead and I'll start cutting that guy up. You know what? I'm going to make such a mess with this one. I'm actually going to wear gloves. Because I can feel it now. Getting glue all over my fingers. Probably do one last batch now. So I got those dowels sitting and being epoxied in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try to cut out 2 squares that are going to go into there. And then I'm going to drill. I got to put the blind nuts in there somehow, don't I? Okay, so make sure that I need to, when I drill those out, get them set, I need to actually set the template for the gear so that I can put the epoxy the blind nuts in on the bottom before I epoxy the plate in. Yeah, let's not do that. So this is where we're at. Nice snug fit all around. Got 2 plates, so we're going to go ahead and laminate these guys together, and then we'll mark out the holes for the gear, and then we'll epoxy this bad boy in. We'll let that guy dry up. Once that's dried up, then we can go ahead and install the holes for the gear mounts and also the blind nuts. These guys, can I even get these out? They look like they're just pressed in. I'll find out, but I'm hopefully going to try to reuse those in the screws, as long as the screws aren't bent. And then we get to epoxy that puppy in there. All right, that is a nice, very snug fit. So we're going to go ahead and let's put this guy. So we're going to sit that as straight as we can get it. We're going to go ahead and mark those holes, drill them out, install some blind nuts on it, painter, call it good. Blind nuts, baby. Alright, our little piece is now being dried. Once that's dry enough, then we'll go ahead and epoxy this thing in, and yeah, I think I'll be pretty happy with that fix. Let me know what you guys think. Leave down in the comments on how you would fix this issue. Would you have taken the whole front piece completely apart and redid it all and made it look more like factory, or would you have done it a different way of kind of still leaving the front pillars like all intact and in the aircraft, kind of like how I did, but maybe in a different way? Let me know. I would love to learn different methods on how you guys would have possibly done this, so please leave a comment, good or bad. Alrighty. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I think the plate turned out very well. It looks damn near factory to me. So I'm going to call that a win. We're going to let that fully cure overnight before I put the gear on, just so that it is 100%. I don't try to stress it anymore. Also, with that hard landing, it cracked up the battery plate a little bit. So I actually went ahead and removed that and sanded and just re-glued it. Nothing special that you guys needed to really see on camera. So that's why the drill's standing on top of it to weigh it down while that cures overnight. And yeah, I think this thing's all fixed up, ready to go. We're going to call that end for this video. I just wanted to do a little bit of surgery on this plane, get it ready to go for Dad. And also I'm going to go ahead and just do some radio programming just to figure out those flight modes and get that all down. If I learn that more in the future and I have more knowledge to be able to show you guys what that entails and how to do it, I will. Just need to learn it. I don't really want to fumble around with trying to teach you guys how to do something that I'm completely not familiar with. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you did like this video. Also leave a comment or respond to every single one. If it's good or bad publicity, we'll absolutely respond to it. We want to learn, and we also want to help you guys out in any way that we can. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.